Good morning everyone, and we're just about to head off for another adventure. We're up at the Whitewell car park in the Cairngorms, and we're going to be cycling over to Gleann Einich and up to Loch Einich, and then the plan is to have a wild camp up on the Braeriach to Angel's Peak plateau. So weather's looking okay, hopefully it will continue to stay settled. There's not really much wind, and there's also quite a lot of blue sky around, so hopefully that develops further. So we're just about to head off on the bike, and we'll bring you back later on. So we're making good progress cycling through the forest. It's quite rough at times and the track's quite narrow, but we're certainly going a lot quicker than you would be if you were on foot, and we'll soon be, I think, heading more into the depths of Gleann Einich. I've not been up here before, it's the first time I've actually approached Braeriach from this route, so it's good to see somewhere new. So looking up there towards Braeriach, and then the track just goes through these moraines next to the river Einich, and we're heading up towards Loch Einich, and again just looking back down where we've come from. So we've been going for just about an hour and a half, but that also includes a few stops because in places the track is quite rough. We're just taking our time, there's no great hurry. We've got all day to get up to the summit, but certainly it's looking good. It's quite warm actually in the sun. Again, I better jump back on the bike because I'm falling behind the other two. So a nice view across there to Sgurgui. That's the hills above Gleann Feshy, and just looking back down the river Einich. So just starting to see Loch Einich in the distance there, and again coming round onto the very impressive cliffs on Sgurgui. That's us been going now for just about 2 hours, but it does include quite a few stops just to enjoy the scenery. And the track is still pretty good actually. It's a lot easier than it was earlier on, and we're making good progress, and the sun's out, so fingers crossed that stays. I think that's the track we're going to go up on the left hand side. This is just looking down towards Loch Einich. So, really superb view. You do get a sense of how remote it is up here, and then round to Sgurgui, and then looking back from where we've come way out to the west at Whitewell. So here we are at Loch Einich. Come down just a few hundred yards extra just to have a look at the loch, and then we'll go back up to where the path begins. First time here, so I'll better come down and so I'll get back on the bike, just go up and rejoin the two Daves. We'll then leave the bikes and start the hike. It's about 4 kilometres from this point up the track to get to where we're hoping to pitch for the night. It's a slight breeze, but It's not bad at all, and hopefully this blue sky continues. So this is the point where we leave the track. We've locked up the bikes and now we'll be heading up the path, which will take us in an hour or two onto the summit ridge. So better get on, onwards and upwards. So the path lets us ascend quite easily. It's skirting along the hillside here with fine views down towards the loch. So the next part of the walk was a path which works its way up to the left of the waterfall, and that gets us out of the quarry and onto the start of the plateau. So we're about 800 metres at the moment. Just did a break and about to head off again. Again, looking back to where we started off, way down in the forests. So that's just climbed up the head wall. Well, the path's quite steep, but it's not too bad. And we're just about to start the pull onto the plateau. I'll show you the view over the quarry from up here. So there's the view down towards the south. You've got Ben Alder in the far distance. I think that's Ben Nevis as well. Bit of action footage there. Some ptarmigan up ahead. Yeah. There's ptarmigan. So we're just heading towards the Wells of Dee now, and deciding where to camp. We might actually camp a bit further towards Braeriach just to get a better view. So we'll go down and see the Wells of Dee first and then make a decision. So this is the Wells of Dee. It's the River Dee starting here just to meander its way across the plateau. So in all the years I've been away walking, I never managed to get up here. I've been over all the mountains either side, but just had never walked this patch of ground, so it's good to finally see this. Looking across there to the Falls of Dee, and then as we pan round, you've got the grandeur of the Cairngorms in all its glory, coming on to the Angel's Peak, Cairntoul, coming down to the Larry Grew, and over towards McDewey. We've headed out for an evening stroll from the camp, just heading up to the summit of Braeriach. So there's quite interesting clouds about. We're almost there. It's just about a 20-minute walk from where we're camping. So we'll have a look at the view once we get up there. So we're now heading back down to the campsite. It's been really good to see all the views from up here. It wasn't a brilliant sunset, but there was still some colour in the sky, and at least it was clear. I really can't complain for being up at 1296 metres. It's certainly is up on the roof of Scotland. It's not even that cold, even though the sun has now gone down. So anyway, we'll get on and get a coffee on, I think, when we get back down to the tent. So back at the tent now. Get up tomorrow morning, see what it's like, if it's worth going back up or not. But I think it's time now to get some sleep, so catch you in the morning. Well, good morning everybody. So it's 5:30 in the morning. There's a wee bit of light out to the east. It's looking quite hopeful. That might be a decent bit of colour in the sky. It's not going to be a brilliant sunrise, I don't think, but there definitely is signs of something. So I'm going to head up to the summit of Braeriach again, just to see what's going on. So we're almost back up at the summit now of Braeriach. It just takes about 15 minutes to get back up from where we're camping. I'll get set up, have some breakfast here, and then just wait and see what happens with the sunrise. But there's not a breath of wind. Hopefully when I stop there won't be any midges, but there were a few around the campsite first thing this morning when I left, so I've got the midge net just in case. a bad view. So I ended up doing some time lapse at the sunrise. It was really beautiful. It hasn't lasted though. As you probably note behind me, there's a band of cloud not that far above the horizon. So once the sun reaches the cloud, then it's all dimmed down again. But it was beautiful for probably about 20 minutes. So hopefully the footage has come out. I've also taken quite a lot of pictures. I took some video also on the mobile phone, so it was really good. Worth getting up to see that. And now going to get a bit of breakfast here, and then I'll head back down to camp. It looks like that's the water boiled, so get the stove off and get some breakfast. So that's me just leaving the summit now. It's probably going to take about 15 minutes to get back down to camp. Get a drink down there and see how other guys are doing, and then probably just strike camp and head off. Just looking back now towards the Dee, the Wells of Dee, and the camp spot just down there. It's another great view this morning. Over to Cairntoul, the Angel's Peak, and going back round. You can maybe hear the water flowing there. That's the Dee coming down the Falls of Dee. heading off from the camp. It was a good spot with a small river, or more a stream I suppose, not a river, that was coming down, which was joining into the Dee, and it was only a couple of seconds to walk over from where we were pitched. Midges weren't so bad this morning back at the camp, which was good. There were a few around, but nothing like they were yesterday. So we'll do some more footage on the way down, maybe not as much, but I'll take bits and pieces. And it's a lovely morning, much better than I was expecting. Thought perhaps we'd be looking at cloud by this point, but looks like the weather gods are shining on us again. Just arrived back on the track. We're just a few hundred metres up from where the bikes are parked. So we had a change of plan. Originally we were just going to return by the same route that we came up yesterday, but we thought maybe we could make it a circular walk. So we've just come down this slope, which you'll see behind me, really steep. There was a path for part of it, but the last bit was very steep, and to be honest not to be recommended. But it gave us a circular route. If you look back over here to the right, you can just see the track where we set off yesterday to go up to Braeriach. As I say, when we came down, we've come down this way today. So it's been an adventure. We'll get back on the bike and it'll just be a case of cycling downhill for part of the way. Hopefully it will only take maybe just over an hour and a bit to get back. We'll find out though shortly. Looking back there to Braeriach, just get a drink of water at the river here and then we'll get back on the bike. Very good. So that's us back at Whitewell. It's been a fantastic trip. Remember, you can follow Scottish Climber on Instagram and Twitter, and the links will have been on the screen. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. So I'll say cheerio and see you.